Hey everybody, Adam Davidson, RadCast for Wednesday, June 7, 2023. How are you? I am fine. Let's put the verse on the screen and get to it. Psalm 16, 5 and 6. You can even whisper it or say it out loud if that would help you stay on track. David writes, Lord, you alone are my portion and my cup. You make my lot secure. The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Surely I have a delightful inheritance. And that, my friends, is the word of the Lord. A couple of terms just to talk about. When we talk about a cup, we're either talking about the worship of false gods, which David mentions earlier in the psalm, where they would take their blood sacrifices, say the name of the god, and then say some sort of prayer to this god, hoping everything would work out. Or you see it in a good way where it's God's provision, where he says, for example, in Psalm 23, that my cup runneth over, and that's for the King James fans. And then with the idea of a lot, that's like a boundary line, a space. Let's go back a notch, actually. Casting lots was actually like rolling the dice, so to speak. And they didn't have dice back then, but the idea was that they believed that God would guide life through chance, games of chance. This was divine leading. We see it in the Old Testament and the New. And then the idea of an inheritance, that you have this piece of land and these riches and this provision that's been handed down from one generation to another. Now, let's talk about just the cup for a second. Jesus mentions the cup that he's been given by God in the New Testament, specifically in the Gospels, where he's praying in the garden, and he prays like this: Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done. Now we get the idea that this cup may not always be a positive thing. Yes, it is God's provision, but it doesn't make any sense at the time. In fact, you kind of want to get out of it, just like Jesus did. But look at how it all worked out. Romans 5. Yes, Adam, not me, the first Adam. Yes, Adam's one sin brings condemnation for everyone, but Christ's one act of righteousness brings a right relationship with God and new life for everyone. Now, it's a good thing that Jesus took the cup and kept it, because now it means that today, no matter what kind of experience we have, no temptation has overtaken us except what is common to humankind, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear, but when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. Not easy, but certainly pleasant. It means that no matter what comes at us, God will provide for us a way out, a way through it, and the stuff to get it done. That's a beautiful thing. So what? Well, it looks like this. God has exactly what we need. That's our portion in the way that we need it. That's the cup. He's got us in a particular spot, which are these boundary lines, that is actually good. Even if it doesn't seem like it, it's good. It's a pleasant place. And it all works out just fine, even if we have to suffer for now, because we have the delightful inheritance, not the financial inheritance, but the inheritance of being a daughter or son of God through our adoption through Christ. So what? Well, it looks like this, my friends. First of all, I have had incredible blessing. God has done so many wonderful things in my life. I've been able to do really fun things, fulfilling things. I feel like I get to fulfill my calling. That's a beautiful thing, but it wasn't always easy. And there were times in my life where I said, God, would you please take this cup from me? It doesn't make sense. I'm suffering. It's killing me. Having a kid with special needs, going through addiction and divorce and rebuilding a family. I didn't want that. I was like, where is God in all of this? It made absolutely no sense. But then you look back on it and you're like, wait a minute. It all worked out fine. It really is a delightful inheritance. It really was a pleasant place, even though it didn't seem like it. Talk about this for a second. This is my favorite coffee mug right here. Currently, this is my Chicago mug. I love a good porcelain or ceramic mug. I honestly don't know the difference. You can tell us in the comments. I love the way the coffee feels, the flavor. I will take this in my truck and drive with it here and there, just because I'd rather have this than a ridiculous travel mug. I don't like travel mugs. This is a Yeti travel mug, way too expensive, but it's got the lid on it, which keeps the coffee in, and it's got the stainless steel, which I don't really like. I think it's probably in my mind, but I don't like this mug. However, there are times where I'll be reminded by my lovely wife that I need to use this mug. She'll see coffee splashes all over the center console of the truck. It's a disaster. What am I doing? Well, I resist this mug at the time when I'm pouring coffee in the morning, but then sometimes on my drives to work or whatever, I kind of wish I had it. In much the same way, God will assign you something that at the time may not make any sense, but then you look back and you go, it's a good thing I had that travel mug. So there are sufferings and difficulties you're experiencing that may not make sense now, but in God's grand plan, design, and will, it will actually work out. And I'm actually living proof of that. Doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. It's still hard. But look at what God can do if we just trust him and we see ourselves as being in a pleasant place. How can I help you? Well, here's a prayer you might pray for today, no matter where you're at. Good spot, bad spot, indifferent. Just have this perspective that David teaches us and that ultimately Jesus teaches us through his word in the Psalms. It goes like this: Here I am, Lord. in a place I didn't choose, under circumstances beyond my control, with a blurry vision of what might be ahead. But here you are, Lord, with me, providing all I need within your boundary, enabling me to do good works, promising your presence now and always. Now, to me, that is a durable prayer, no matter what situation you find yourselves in, good, bad, indifferent. Ultimately, when we follow Jesus, we are in pleasant places. That's RadCast.